Welcome to Mautic Meetup. Um, Housekeeping rules. All microphones should be off. Raise hands to be unmuted. Use the chat to ask questions, and recordings will be available in few days on Mautic Meetup Lagos YouTube channel. A brief introduction to what Mautic is all about. So, Mautic is a fully featured open source marketing automation tool which automates and measures marketing efforts, integrates and personalizes digital properties in all channels, delivering seamless customer experiences. And Mautic solves critical digital marketing problems such as website tracking, landing pages, automated campaigns, contact management, A/B testing, profiling, email marketing, dynamic content, etc., and a whole lot of other things. Contributing to Mautic, uh, there's a contribution link there if you want to get involved in Mautic community and contributing to Mautic itself. So Mautic has like lots of team. We have the community team, the education team, the legal and finance team, the marketing team, and the product team. So if you want to contribute to Mautic, you can be able to pick where your strength is and focus on this team. If you want to contribute to the education team, write documentations and the rest, you can go to the education team. If you want to be in the marketing team, you can join the marketing team and the rest. Which is Samson Aligba. Samson Aligba is a solutions architect, an experienced professional with a clear focus for solving business problems with design and technology. In 2012, he founded his first tech startup after 3 years of running an independent brand agency. In 2014, he was acknowledged as one of the 100 most innovative in the Nigerian tech space. So he advises businesses and founders on leveraging digital technology and its applications for profitability. Samson Aligba's experience cut across industries, collaborating, leading teams, and implementing strategies for efficiency. He has over like 15 years of experience in brand marketing, product development, and tax with exploiting new ways to enable brands gain attention and wallets of customers. So, as a co-founder and CIO over the last 6 years, he has led execution of technology-driven and digital strategy digital strategy implementations for project brands like InterSwitch Group, Pan, that is Peugeot Nigeria, Access Bank, even Nine Mobile. So just name a few. Um, Living his passion for technology-driven solutions, Samson Aliba is currently spearheading his newest venture, Analytics. It's an intelligence company partnering with ambitious organizations to accelerate growth through mining, analytics, personalization, and automation. So with this, I just give like a brief bio on Samson Aliba, so you get to know him. And I just got okay, and his birthday was yesterday, so we are very, very opportune to have him in our midst today. So, Samson Aliba, over to you.
Thank you, Favor. Thank you for the introduction. Great to be here. Thank you for the invitation as well. Um, Thanks to Mautic as well. Mautic's a fantastic tool. We've used Mautic for a couple of our clients, and we still provide Mautic setup services and support. Mautic is quite robust. Uh, for some of our other clients who don't need that level of robustness, we decided to create a more simpler tool for them as well. Thank you for the opportunity. Today we'll be discussing um, email deliverability. A whole lot of people have challenges with their emails going to inbox, and some marketers even prefer not to show up in the promotions tab because they think it's less worthy of their content, and everybody's gunning for the primary tab. But inbox covers both the primary tab, um, promotions tab, and even the social tab. Everything that basically bypasses the or avoids the spam folder is good for you, right? Um, So today we'll go through the different. First, I'll start with the different levels of checks that your email goes through before it gets to your customer or your prospect. And then we'll go into some technicalities of how email gets delivered. And then we'll just share a few tips on that you can put into practice, right, to get your email to the inbox of your prospective customer. So, with that said, I'll move straight away to brief of how email works. This is useful for non-technical people, right? So, when you send out an email from your server, it goes through a technology or protocol that has been around for a very long time, since the very beginning of the internet, called the SMTP. Um, when your email gets sent through that protocol from your server, it goes through your server through a queuing system, and then that queuing system pushes it out to your prospect's own server, who receives it and then finally pushes it to whatever client application or reader that your prospect is making use of. So in this case, most popular would be Gmail, who acts as an inbox service provider to very many people. There are very few people who don't have Gmail accounts, right? So Gmail seems to be the main challenger when it comes to dealing with deliverability. You need to understand that spam is billions of dollars what costs, right, to this inbox service provider. They spend that much to ensure that they keep the spam and the bad guys away. So a whole lot of checks need to be in place to ensure that only the good guys get through to their customers. And that's why it's the way it is. Your MTA is your mail transport agent. That's what sits on your both your own server and the recipient server to manage the flow of traffic of emails going in and out of it. For marketers, sending out emails would be in bulk, and these MTAs manage that traffic and queuing system. By way of definitions, we'll talk about later. We'll get to this later, but quickly, let's talk about the three-way test, what we call the three-way test. Now, this is the test that every bulk email you send out has to go through before it gets to your prospect. If your email misses this test, you get thrown into the big red sea of the spam folder, as we call it. So when you send out an email, your email is guilty until it's proven innocent. It's proven innocent by this three-way test. Now, the first column you see here is a more technical test, and this has to do with reputation, the reputation of your sending domain and of your sending IP address. Your sending domain is the later part of your email address. That is your name at your business company domain name.com, .io, something else. So that at your business name.com, that's your sending domain. Now, to send out an email successfully, your sending domain needs to have a good reputation with all of the inbox service providers. Now, that reputation is confirmed and checked regularly. So that reputation has to do with everything on the first column, as you can see on the screen here. So you have the SPF, Sender Policy Framework. You have the DMARC, the Dkim, and Secure Send, which is your TLS for that's your secure sending protocol. So first things first, SPF ensures that your email is coming from your domain name. So a hacker has not by any way spoofed your email address and is using that email address to send out emails on your behalf. So the SPF ensures that tells the recipient server and inbox service providers that yes, your email address, that your email is actually coming from your domain name authentically, legitimately. I'll move to Dkim. Dkim is a secure key. That's the simplest way to put it. It's a secure key that authenticates your server. It tells the inbox service providers that your server is legit and your server is connected to, that's your domain name now, is connected to a server or an IP address that both match. For example, I can send out an email on behalf of your company, right? By just spoofing the name of your company. Say I could send out an email from Mautic.com, for example, to anybody. So how does Mautic, how does Gmail confirm that Mautic.com actually sends that particular email? That is what the Dkim, which is a security key, is for. It checks and ensures that yes, the IP address this email is coming out from matches the domain name that matches that IP address on the World Wide Web. And then once it checks that and it's fine, it then allows your email to go through and say, yeah, this is authenticated and it's good to go. Secure Send TLS is a protocol just like HTTPS for websites, um, or SSL for websites as it's called. TLS is it's a protocol to ensure that what is being sent is encrypted end to end. This is not encrypting the email content itself. This is encrypting the sending protocol. That's SMTP, making sure that the transmission of your message from your server to the other server is within a secure channel. Now, Gmail and all the other inbox service providers also check for this. If you are sending out an email from your server, now I'm assuming you are using Mautic and you are using your own server to send out emails through Mautic. If you're sending out this email through your server and your server domain doesn't have a certificate installed, you run into problems. If you are sending out through an SMTP provider, say maybe SendGrid or Mailgun or any of the other guys out there, and they do not also ensure that their servers have security certificates installed, your emails will also run into problems. So this first block, SPF, DMARC, DKIM, and your security sending certificate constitutes your sending your domain name reputation when it comes to sending out emails to prospects. All right. Later, I'll show you some tools that would help you to check what your reputation is at the moment, and I encourage people to perform regular checks, especially after they have just sent out a bulk email to their list. Now, the second block here, which you can see starts with list quality. The second block speaks to lists, to your contact list. The first one I said speaks to technicalities and reputation. The second one speaks to the relationship you have with your prospects and how much they want to hear from you or don't want to hear from you, if that's the case for you. All right. A lot of people boast about the number of emails they have on their list. And I tell people that list size shouldn't be what you boast about. What you should boast about is the quality of people you have and the quality of relationship you have with those people on your list. So I would take 10K lists over 100K list of people who really do not want to hear from me or are not sure how I got their email address. If you have those kind of people on your list, one of two things is going to happen. They're either going to mark your next email as spam, or they just keep deleting every email you send out to them, or some might just even go hardball on you and just block your email completely. All right. So first things first, you need to ensure that the email you have on your email list, on your contact list, or your prospect list, you got them legitimately. Double opt-in is what we recommend. Double opt-in is short or simple for when someone fills out a form to subscribe to your newsletter, you send out a notification to that email address requesting that they confirm that subscription. That way, I cannot subscribe for my partner cannot subscribe for me without me knowing about it. If I see a notification saying confirm your subscription and I remember I really did not fill this form, right? I'll just delete that particular email. That way, you also ensure that everyone on your list really wants to hear from you. I know this might not sound nice to a lot of marketers, but this is one sure way to guarantee, right, that you don't get people on your list that would hurt your reputation as a sender. Okay, so list quality, very important. Also, if you have a large list, periodically the you want to check the health of your list. You want to check and make sure that people who are on that list, their inboxes have not been cancelled or disabled, especially for people who maintain an inbox with their own domain names. You want to ensure that the inbox of this person is not full. This happens with people who use free email addresses like Gmail and Yahoo. You want to also ensure that the email address you're sending to is not some email that has to do with support for a company or they contact us at domainname.com. I mean, we all know nobody really monitors those email addresses for a lot of companies out there. So to guarantee or to check your email list and to check that any of this is not the case with the lists you have, we make use of email verification services. There are a lot of them out there. There is NeverBounce, there's dbounce.io, there's TrueMail. In this presentation, I'll show you a list of some of them. There are a lot of them out there and they do a fantastic job. All you have to do is upload your list to them, right? And they would do the verification and you get a clean list back. I advise that you do this periodically, say once in 3 months, every quarter, to ensure that the people you have on your list are still active and you can safely deliver your email communications to them. Now, aside from verifying the people on your list, you also want to periodically re-engage people who have not been engaging with your email. So you know how it is. You send out an email broadcast and you're looking at your analytics and you can see that out of 1,000 people you send out email to, only say 100 of them opens the email and another say 10% of that clicked on the link you provided in the email. And over time, you can see a consistency with this metric. That tells you something. It tells you that the other 900 people on your list are really not engaging with your content. And you do not want to keep sending out the same email type of content at the same frequency to these people, because a couple of these people might just be marking your email as spam, and that is unknown to you, especially if your email setup, your ESP, or if you're using your own SMTP box or your own server, doesn't have what they call the feedback loop to let you know if someone is actually just marking it as spam. And for some other people, they might just be deleting it. We all do it. So if you do it, you should expect other people to do it to you as well. So these 900 people, how do you check to make sure that, hey, you're seeing my email, are you just reading the title and deleting it because you don't like the title, or are you just blocking it outright? So one way you can do this is to use, in fact, there are two ways to checkmate this really. So the first thing you want to do when someone subscribes to your email is to send out a simple welcome email. Welcome to my mail list. This is what I'm going to be sending you in a couple of weeks' time or in a year's time, whatever the duration is. You also want to encourage them to whitelist your email address. Whitelisting is simply asking your recipients to say, hey, if you want to keep hearing from us, move this particular email to your primary tab. That's for Gmail people. For some other mailboxes, you tell them include my email address in your contact list. Just that simple request. We've seen some people do it and some people just ignore the request, but it's best you make that request of your recipients just to ensure that, yes, the next time you send out that email, they would see it. And if they are going to um, if they are going to get bored with your content, they know what next to do. So also in your welcome email, you also want to tell them what to do if they want to stop hearing from you. One thing to do is, hey, click on this link to unsubscribe, or Gmail users tap on your unsubscribe text that appears close to my email address at the top of your window. So this way you are letting them know ahead of time that, hey, you have the options, the cards are actually in your hands. This is the way to go. That way people who read that welcome text already know what to expect from you, and they already know what to do when they want to stop hearing from you. The second way to re-engage them would be to those 900 people on your list who have not been opening your emails. You could send out a promotion. You could send out, depending on the kind of business you're speaking for, right? As a marketer, you could send out, if it's retail, you send out a discount coupon. You could send out a promotional message. Say, okay, hey, we're about to remove your email address from our list, but we just wanted to reach out to make sure that, hey, you're not missing out on anything, any great content we're sharing. If you would like to continue hearing from us, click on this link to get X% discount on your next purchase or something like that. If you really do not want to hear from us, click on this other link to go to the preference center and unsubscribe. It's that simple. Like I said earlier, best you have 10 people on your list who are willing to hear from you than having 1,000 people who really just continually click spam whenever they see your email come through. Then that's all for the list quality, list check, and re-engagement. Then you have the blacklist, right? Your email goes through a blacklist check. Now, when your email address and domain name consistently fall into spam category, or your recipients consistently mark you as spam, there are a set of organizations online. Prominent of them is Spam House. They maintain a list of domain names and IP addresses that have been categorized as spam senders. So when your email or your domain name gets blacklisted on this list, you stand the chance of continually going to spam. Now, when you send out an email, the inbox service providers will check. They will check this list. If your email, domain name, or IP address is in one of those blacklists, delivery of your email would be deprioritized. So they won't put a priority to it, and that way you get to spam. Now, also for you to checkmate this, periodically check with the blacklist providers. Check with them to ensure that, oh, if your email is found in there or your IP address is found in there, if you're using an ESP, say Mailgun or SendGrid, and for these guys, they provide you that service using a shared IP address for everybody on their service. So let me explain that quickly. If you are on SendGrid, for example, um, the IP address SendGrid maintains for their sending server to send out emails on your behalf, that IP address for that server is shared by not just you, but a lot of other people who are also using SendGrid as a delivery service for their email. Now, if one of those people has been caught spamming or showing spam tendencies, that IP address might have been blacklisted. Now, so you want to check periodically that, okay, before you send out that blast, that bulk email, right, that campaign to 10,000 people on your list, you want to do a test, a quick test. Send out one email, check the IP address is going through, or send out one email to one of the mail check services I'll share later in this presentation, just to make sure that, hey, the IP address I'm sending out from has not been blacklisted already. If it's been blacklisted already, I don't know about SendGrid, but I know Mailgun allows you to change the shared IP you're sending it out from. It's somewhere on their dashboard. You can easily just tap on it to make that change, and you can test again to ensure that the new one you got is safe, right? And it's not blacklisted already. Now, that's the blacklist test, and it's very important that you do that because your email would go through that test anyways, right? Now, your send rate. Send rate, a lot of people downplay the send rate, and uh, I think I know why, but it's important that when you're sending out your email, Mautic allows you to manage this brilliantly well, right? When you tap on send, Mautic presents a box for you and shows you, hey, how many you want to send in batches, right? That batch send number, if you keep it as low as possible, right, you have more chances of getting into inbox. Now, I know there is that temptation to want to send out 100K emails in 1 hour. uh, that's desirable, but we've noticed that it's best you keep it low, and better if it's not a transactional email, this is just marketing, right? Better your recipient get it late in the evening or the next day than getting it in the spam folder where they'll really not see it anyways, right? So keep your send rates as low as possible, 200 at a time, say 500 at a time. So this is what you want to do, right? You want to start low and gradually increase it as you notice that, yes, you're getting good feedback from your test, and also your recipients are engaging with your email. So you gradually expand that. When you come to the technical side of it, sending out emails to 100K customers at once, you can actually achieve that if you are going to be using, say, multiple servers, using multiple IP addresses, using an IP pool manager. All of that is technical, but that is what your email service provider would handle for you. If you're managing your own sending server, or your own using your own server to send out these email addresses, you want to start low and gradually increase the rate of delivery from your sending software, in this case, Mautic or Outbox or any other sending software you're using. Then bounce management. When you come to bounce, when you send out an email and the email address you sent it out to could not receive it for one of many reasons, that server would send back a notification to you to say, hey, your email could not be sent. You need to monitor this. Mautic also again has a fantastic way to monitor this. There's an inbox you connect. You have an inbox connector in your settings. You can always check, right? Every time you get a bounce notification to your email address, which you sent out emails from, Mautic can always check to say, okay, yes, and then record that bounce on your dashboard so you are aware. What we do with Mautic for bounce management is we have a segment called bounce for clients we manage. We create a segment called bounce, and when an email bounces, we just tag it and then move it to the bounce segment. So the next time we're sending out emails, we look out for that. Hey, these people who bounce periodically, just clean them out, delete them, right? That was before we started using the email verification services. So if you heard what I said before about list quality, if you periodically check your list, verify the people on your list, you will not have a problem with bouncing, right? But just in case one of those emails still bounce, you need to ensure that your bounce settings, your bounce management settings are correct and working perfectly. Because every time an email bounce, you get that notification, you want to be able to capture that, record it appropriately, and make sure you do not repeat sending to that email address. Otherwise, the inbox service provider again will just notice that, hey, this guy is just sending out a whole lot of emails. He's not doing any of these checks. He's not doing any of these tests. And he really doesn't have a bounce management protocol in place. So he must be spamming. That's a characteristic of a spammer, right? So they put you in the spam in the red sea of spam. So you do not want to get there. So you want to periodically check that your bounce management settings are on point and they are working perfectly. Unsubscribe. This is also an interesting one that a whole lot of marketers um, try to shy away from. So, well, not pro marketers know that you have to include that unsubscribe link down there in the email. Um, New marketers and some people who want to be funny prefer to hide it, obscure it from your recipients. And that's really a bad practice. You want to ensure that you have a simple way for people to unsubscribe from your list. If they're not happy with what they're receiving from you, let them go. Best you let them go rather than having them mark you as spam, right? Because when you get marked as spam, it takes a whole lot to get out of that place. So you want to have your preference center well set up. The options are there. You can take yourself off my list if you maintain several lists from the same domain. Have those lists available there. People can check the list that they want to opt out of, or they can just unsubscribe completely from your service. That's also fine. Best you have them go than have them mark you as spam. And then your domain name. This one, I personally experienced this right when um, quite recently actually. So domain names are also checked. If you just registered a domain name, say a week ago, and this week you're already sending out bulk email to 100K people, that's going to be flagged as spam. One, your domain name age will be checked. Yes, there's a thing like that. Your domain name age will be checked, and if your domain name is less than a period of time and you're sending out a large chunk of emails at a go, you get placed in spam until you do better. That's the best way to put it. And if you also sending out emails from a domain name that has an unpopular TLD, right? That's you're not on .com, .org, .net. Say you're sending out an email from .email or GB, something that's not popular, right? Right. What happens is there are some blacklists that just monitor for newly created email addresses that are not on the popular TLDs, and you get placed there for a holding period. So you get placed in the spam in that blacklist for a holding period, usually between 2 to 4 weeks. I can't remember the name of the one that we got caught in, but that's what happened. We were using a domain name that ends with .email, and from the get-go, we just sent out a couple hundreds, right? And we got on that list. When we reached out to them, they outlined all of the reasons why and all of that stuff. We had to wait for a period, right, to get off that list. So within that period, you need to be of your best behavior. Your send rate is low. Your bounce rate is very low or doesn't even exist. So you're sending out emails to people you actually know and they expect to hear from you. So after that period of time, your domain name gets moved out of that list. But if you want to bypass that from the beginning, right, buy a good domain name. Start your send rate very low and work your way up, right? Don't just send out to everybody on your list. If you have a large list, the next minute after your domain registration comes through, right, that will just get you in the spam sea. Now we move to the third block. Now the third block has to do with content. Now this is the part where you need to pay a lot of attention because almost everything here has to do with what you do. It has nothing to do with your server, has nothing to do with your email service provider, it has nothing to do with your SMTP provider. No, none of that. This particular block is all about content and how you present that content in your email. Now, your image to text ratio, you need to have more text than images in the body of your email. If you have too many images, that's a red flag. That's a spammy behavior. So you get pushed to spam. If you have too many images and your email has more weight than the average email I will get from my partner or from my associate in the office, that's spammy behavior. So you want to keep the images in your email body low and have more text than images in your email. The next is copy. This has to do with the contents of your mail. If you are going to use spammy keywords like 100% guaranteed, um, free. There are a lot of them. You could just Google spammy keywords. You find a ton of them out there. These keywords these keywords came from the 90s, early 2000s, and they are constantly updated. So you want to also keep yourself updated on what is classified as a spammy keyword, what are spammers using today, so you want to stay off those words. If you have to make use of those words, find the next best alternative to using your copy. Okay, then your template. This one is very big. Mautic templates are very easy to create. um, I know some people complain they are not, but yeah, they're very easy to create. Now, if you're creating your email, especially if you work in a team, right, and you have designers on board, there's always that temptation for the designer to want to over design this email and make it difficult for the developer to convert into a template. You want to make sure that your email templates are clean. What that means is you have less, your styling is in the body itself. You don't have you're not calling a separate style sheet somewhere. Your If you can stay off JavaScript, fantastic for you. If you're going to include any scripting in there, that again can trigger the spam filters and just move your email to spam. So one, you want to ensure that your template is clean, the coding is clean. Email templates are quite different from web templates. There's a whole lot of difference. So you want to check with that and make sure your templates are clean before you send out that particular email. Then your links. The fewer the better. That's the shortest way to put it. The fewer the better. And also, if you're going to make use of third link shorteners, yes, you don't use them for email, but if you have to, you want to stay with the more popular, I dare say, credible ones, because that's the same way the spam filters see them. So go with the more popular ones who most probably would have a relationship with the inbox service providers anyway. So you want to be in that safe zone rather than using some unknown or new email link shortener that these guys don't already know about or receive emails from. So for links, the fewer the better. If you have to, I would recommend just use one link by email for sending. So that's the three-way test. We've moved from block to block. Block one, reputation. Block two, everything about list quality and how you manage your list. Block three, everything about content. If your email goes through all of this, which basically happens in a few seconds, your email goes through all of this, yes, you get to inbox, either promotions tab or the primary tab for Gmail. If your email misses a few of these, you get put in the spam folder, and that's it for that. You'd have to work your way out of the spam folder to get back into your user's inbox. Now, with that said, here are a few things to put into place to improve deliverability of your emails. I know I must have mentioned a few of them already. So the first is clean data sourcing. Don't buy a list. If you're going to partner with someone to have access to their list, ensure that the audience is right for your business or the audience is right for that partnership. You do not want to just send out emails to people who do not know you, understand your brand or what you're offering. A few of them will put you in spam. And once you start getting more spam complaints or more block complaints, that's you getting blacklisted already, and that's you being in the spam folder consistently for a long period of time. So you want to ensure that your you are getting prospects on your list in a very, very clean way. They're either subscribing for some offer of value that you're offering, right? Or you're partnering with someone who has the same, whose audience matches what you are offering, and it's quite easy for you to worm your way into their inbox graces, if there's anything like that. Then periodically clean your database of email. Um, have some engagement campaigns to win back people who are not really engaging with the email they receive from you. That this happens a lot in retail. Say someone purchases um, an item during Black Friday from a retail store just because it was Black Friday and they could get it for half the price, right? That period. It says nothing about repeat purchase. They probably have their favorite store where they already purchased this item from. But just because have you had a Black Friday deal, right? They jumped on it and that's it. That will come to welcome series later, but that sort of contact on your list might not want to hear from you ever again. So periodically you want to re-engage these people and say, hey, would you like keep hearing from us? If not, unsubscribe here. If yes, I mean, we have an incentive for you to keep hearing from us. Just make sure you open our emails. Sort of um, warm your way back into their hearts and get them re-engaged and recommitted to receiving from you. Um, Periodically contact health, periodically verify the emails on your list. I've spoken extensively about that already. Private IPs, yes. So remember I mentioned the ESPs sending out your emails through an IP address that is shared by a lot of people. So you also have the option of purchasing access, right, to your own private IP. What that means is only your emails will be sent out through that channel. If you can get this, best for you. And when you get a private IP, again, like I said about the send rate, you want to warm your way up. This is actually called IP warm up. You want to send out a few emails every day consistently for the next 2 to 3 weeks. Start with very little and work your way up. That way, you warm up this IP address. This ensures that the IP address goes around all the ESPs not ESPs, the inbox service providers, Gmail, Yahoo, AOL, and all the other guys. It goes around all of them to say, hey, I'm new here in town. I'll be sending you a few emails periodically over time. This is me. I'm good. Let me in. That's just making light of it, but you know how it goes. Technically, you send out an email, these guys do all the checks and determine if you get placed in spam or not. So you want to warm your way up into them and keep your private IP reputation good. The next is easy to unsubscribe. Yes, I've also spoken extensively about this already. Your content strategy, very important. As marketers, this is where we get the opportunity to shine. Um, the subject line matches the content value, the content itself, either long or short, actually delivers value to the recipients. You are not always selling, selling, selling. You want to you want to have a strategy to your content delivery. Now, I know this is not about this presentation is not about content, but this is where we actually get the opportunity to do our jobs really good. You want to have a strategy for content. Periodically send out engaging email, send out value, something useful, a tip, a tutorial, a gift, a white paper, something useful to your audience. And then periodically, in between those engagement emails, you want to put in promotional emails. If you just go heavy on promotion, 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 just because you want to sell, you might turn off a number of people on your list because they really have no incentive for opening the email. Every email is a discount, or every email is a promotion, every email is a buy now. If I'm not interested in that product at the moment, I can't just turn off your emails or unsubscribe altogether. So you want to keep the relationship going, keep it oiled by sending out valuable content while you also match that with your periodic promotions. Okay. Um, then quality first, I talked about that earlier as well. Best to have quality contacts on your list than to just have quantity. That doesn't work well in the end. And then the last thing here is the welcome series. Yes. So when someone subscribes to your list and you send out that first welcome email, telling them what to expect, how to unsubscribe, how to forward this to a friend if they find it valuable and all of that stuff. You also want to have an introductory welcome series. Best if you automate this. Again, if you are using Mautic, you are already good. The automation channel for Mautic is fantastic, right? And very easy to get a hold of. So if you need to create a series of content, say a 7 day valuable piece, a 2 week valuable piece, don't keep it long. Best to keep it very short. So have this welcome series. This welcome series pumping as much value as possible, right? The reason for this is you want to train the inbox of your recipients, right, to expect your email to be engaged with. So imagine you have a 7 day welcome series and every email is a hit back to back. What that means is your recipient is opening it, they are reading through it. That's meaning they're spending some time in that inbox, right? In that particular message. They're probably sharing it, forwarding it to a friend. They are basically training the filters to notice that yes, email from this particular um, IP address, inbox, right, is something I would love to read because I keep opening them, I keep reading them, I keep sharing them, right? It's training the filters to expect more of this and put it in the right folder. So you want to invest in valuable welcome series and as much as possible automate them, as much as possible personalize them. You know the drill. Hi, Samson. Hello, Samson. Great day, Samson. And the copy of the message as well, you want to mention my name. If part of the subscription process for your service, you know my birth date or you know my preference in some way, you also want to have that in the content, right? Make it feel like this was written personally for me and warm your way into my inbox filters and tell them, yes, expect to receive more from you. All right. That brings us to the end of this presentation. If you have questions, please let me know. I think I have here, yes, testing tools. If you want to check um, your Gmail inbox placement, Litmus has a tool for that. So you go to litmus.com/gmail-tabs. If you want to check your domain and IP reputation, you go to senderscore.org. You want to check bounce management and feedback loop. Want to ensure that they are working all right before you send out your email, proper email blast, right? Socket Labs has a bounce and feedback test email address you can make use of. You can just do a quick, the URL is long, you can just do a quick search for Socket Labs bounce feedback loop. You should stumble upon the page and get the email address to use. You want to check your IP address, make sure it's in the inbox service provider's good graces. You can go to talosintelligence.com. Very fantastic piece of software there. Um, Monitoring your delivery, you want to make use of Google's Postmaster tool. So postmaster.google.com. Hotmail, that's Microsoft Office. They also have Outlook, Hotmail, and Live. They also have their own Postmaster service. You could Google for that as well and sign up for it. Pretty decent. And then this is the my favorite and which we quite use quite a lot is the all-in-one tester, Mail Tester, mail-tester.com. Before you send out that campaign, go to Mail Tester, get one of their email addresses, send out your emails to it, and they will do a quick check, top to bottom, of practically everything I have mentioned in the three-way test. They will do a quick check of everything and tell you where you where you have a problem or a challenge and what you can do to fix it quickly. All right. So with that said, come to the end of the presentation. I hope this has been useful to you. And if you have questions, do let me.
Thank you so much, Samson. That was such a very wonderful presentation, and I enjoyed every part of it. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead. Thank you very much.
All right, great. So, we have a question here. We have one question, and that is, what advice do you have for people who might have got one of the part of the three-way test wrong in the past? Should they start again with a whole new list, or try to repair the damage and keep using the list they have?
Oh, that's a very good question. I had hoped I would have touched on this, but this is a very good opportunity to touch on that. So yes, you've missed this in the past. How do you how do you get out of the hole you've dug for yourself? There are several ways to go about it. If you identify that the list you have is the problem, then right ahead, go on, clean and verify that list, then um, have a re-engagement campaign. Warm yourself into the inbox of those clean recipients. But while you're doing that, you also want to check that the IP you're sending out from has not been blacklisted. If it's been blacklisted, your next best chance is to get on a new IP and send out to the new lists, warming your way into them. So your send rates, keep it low, build it up before you start sending to everybody. That's one way to do it. If you're not sending out these emails yourself, say you're using one of the SMTP providers hooked up to your Mautic account or your Mautic box, you might want to change your SMTP provider, right? Just to make sure you get on a better IP or on a better delivery service. Now, the technical aspects of the IP, reputation checks, and all of that stuff is handled by these guys. That's their job. That's what you pay them for, to use their service. But if you've been on the bad side with one provider in the past, if that provider cannot provide you an alternate IP address to make use of, you want to move to another provider. Now, on the parts you also control 100%, your domain name. If you're sending out emails from, say, airmeet.com and you've been blacklisted in the past and you have a challenge with using that email successfully going on, you might want to create a subdomain on that email and go from there. If you are just starting out, always advisable send out send out from and if you're just starting, right? Here's the thing: if you're just starting and you know that you are going to grow this list over a long period of time and you are going to be sending out to a whole lot of people, basically startups, right? You would want to keep your sending domain separate from your primary domain. So what does that say? That is, we're currently on airmates.com. That is what we use for our communications, frequent one-on-one communications, but we maintain an airmeetmail.com for sending out marketing emails to our users. That way, if we have a problem with airmeetmail.com in the future, maybe blacklisted or something, we can easily just move to e.airmeetmail.com. So we can keep changing the subdomain names attached to the domain name, right? If we have problems, while we work to ensure, right, it's always important that we work to ensure that we meet all of these tests so we don't keep finding ourselves in that position again and again. Yeah.
Great, that was a very nice one. So one more question. Is there an optimal content process you recommend to warm up a new IP address or a new list? For example, how often should you send emails? Which kind of content should be sent?
Okay. Um, I will start with the last question, which is which type of content should be sent. That I really cannot say unless I understand the business, right? But you want to send out content that is valuable to your recipients. I'll give you an example. If I subscribe to a baking blog, right? I want to hear the baker's experience about her journey. I want to hear her experience about something I'm currently struggling with or in the kitchen, right? I want to hear about if it's more commercial. I want to hear about her experience building her commercial business. So your initial set of emails should speak to a particular value that you have identified is of importance to your recipients, and you want to give more of that. So the more value you give in your content, the better for you, because the chances are that your email list will stay with you, your contacts will stay with you basically. For the other question, I think I can't remember that now. Can you help me? Part of the question, the first thing you said, it was about IP address. Hello.
Sorry, I was muted. I was talking. I didn't know I was muted. Okay, so the first part of the question was, should you clean up people who don't? Oh, sorry, not that. Okay, is there an optimal content process you recommend to warm up a new IP?
Oh yeah, fantastic. Yes, 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 yes. So to warm up a new IP address, your schedule is you start from 20. You start sending out to 20 people from day one, and you increase. There's a chart we use. I don't. It's somewhere. I can't remember, but you start with 20 and you send out. You have to send out daily for the next 2 weeks, right? To a list, but the list size will grow daily. So you start with 20, you move to 100, I think, you move to 200, and you grow from there. Um, some people have suggested, now I'm not sure of this, but some people have suggested that the inbox service providers all have different um, sending rates that they expect, or rather recipient list that they expect. I'm not sure of that. I can't prove that scientifically, but um, for us, you start with 20 and then you move your way up within the next 2 weeks to using that particular IP address, and then you just grow the list of people you send out emails to every single day. So same thing I said about content, you want to deliver value every single day for the next 2 weeks to this list. What we usually start out with for the initial 20, just so that we are good, right? And we're in everybody's good graces, is to the team. The team make say maybe a fraction of that list, and then friends and other associates. We let them know, hey, I'll be sending out emails from this particular channel. Expect to receive it. When you get it, please respond to it. That's reply to it, right? Just so that we train the inbox to notice that yes, this is good. People are responding to this. If you find it in the spam folder, move it quickly to your inbox. If you find it in the promotions tab, please move it, whitelist it, move it to um, your primary tab, right? That's our initial 20. If you have a subscription form on your website or elsewhere, you also want to state it maybe underneath, we will not spam you. And in your welcome email, you also want to mention that, hey, please move us to your primary tab, all right, to continually hear from us. Do that, and yeah, you should be able to warm up that IP address. over the next 2 weeks.
Oh, great, great. I really learned some new things there. That I'm going to also give it a try. So we have one more question. But before I ask the question, please can you stop sharing your screen? I would like to share my
Oh,
screen so
right.
that
Sorry
after you
about
answer
that.
this question, I can then do the closing. All right, thank you so much. So the one last question, and that is should you clean up people who don't open the emails after a certain time, or keep emailing them in the hope that they might be interested in the future?
Okay,
What's the
so
what's the best way to break up with people who keep your list quality high?
the first part is, do you keep sending out emails to people who have not been engaging? Now, this is where segmentation comes into play. You want to when you observe your metrics, you observe your dashboard. You want to segment frequent um, there's a term we call it frequent recipients, right? You want to put them in a particular list, and for recipients who are not really engaging, but you also know that yes, periodically they engage, you want to keep them in a separate list. Now, what will you do with both lists? Your frequency of sending to the frequent recipients list, you maintain that. For the infrequent recipients, you want to spread out the frequency. You want to send them periodically, say once in a month, once in 2 weeks. If your existing frequency is, say, maybe every day or every week, you want to space it out for them, right? When you space it out for them, it ensures that your message gets across to your frequent recipients, and they keep engaging with your email. So training the inbox spam filters to receive more from you. While the infrequent recipients, you want to seldom send them emails, and you want to also change the kind of content is sent to them. If you really want to keep them on your list, you want to send out more more value, less promotion, or periodic offers rather than just promotions. You want to just say, oh, here is 50% off next week if you're interested. You do that again in, say, 2 months time. You do that again in 4 months time. You want to have that staggered out, and this you can basically actually create with the automation channel of your email service provider, right? If you're using Mautic, great for you. You want to have that automated, kept aside, so when you move a particular contact from frequent recipient to infrequent recipient segment, it triggers that automation sequence to say, hey, this content spaced out, send it out to these people every 4 weeks, and that's that. Yeah, I think that answers the question.
Thanks so much, Samson. It's really been a wonderful time having you around with us today, and
Thank you for
I
having me.
must confess that I've really learned a lot today too. And thank you so much for still taking time out. Even though we were supposed to have this last week, but due to the technical challenges, although we have some few ones early this morning too when we were about to start.
Yeah.
I'm glad that everything is fixed and we're able to have this running smoothly. Thank you so much. So, Ruth dropped a message in the chat box, uh, but let me ask you via. Let me just ask you about this here, and that is we would love to have you join our email tiger team. So there is a smaller set of subset for the product of teams that we have in Mautic, where they work on a single project for a period of time to improve on Mautic. So one of them is the email tiger team. So based on your presentation so far, it would be very nice if you can join that team to help improve Mautic, especially in areas that you've been able to talk about today. We can discuss more about this in the lunch after we end the session. So
Okay, great. Let's talk about it. No problem.
all right, great, great, great. That's fine. So we can discuss more about this during the lunch. All right. So thanks to everyone who joined us. It's really been a wonderful session today, and we really appreciate you. And I just want to also put out some informations that Mautic 3.2 was released last Monday. Um, if you haven't upgraded to the latest version, please do so. Also, in case if anyone missed the multicon, the multi conference, the videos are now available on YouTube, so kindly check out the multi YouTube channel where you can be able to download them. All right, so we look forward to you joining our community. We are our official community is on meetup.com, so just search for multi meetup Lagos. What we have our future events, our next meetup is going to be happening in January, so we look forward to you joining us in January. Today's video will be uploaded on the Mautic Meetup Lagos YouTube channel. You can also watch previous videos there too. So please do share them. If anybody needs help, do share the links with them. They can go there and watch, and then they can be able to learn. All right. So this is the link to our Mautic Meetup page. Please feel free to join. We would love to have you there for updates. We share updates. We let you know when we have our next meetup and other information that you need to know about. So this meetup has been planned by three people, and that is we have Favor. Favor did the introduction earlier. We have Victor and we have myself. So, in case you have any question or you like to speak in any of our future meetups, please feel free to reach out to any of us. We'll be glad to have you speak. We will be glad to get your feedback and would like to improve more on what is going to move Mautic Meetup Lagos forward. All right. So, sorry, this was a mistake. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. Our next meetup is going to be happening in January, and it's going to be online. That's January 30th, and it's going to be happening online. All right. Thank you so much again, Samson. And Ruth, thank you so much for always being available for us. You've been a blessing to us in Multic Meetup
You're
Lagos.
welcome. Anytime.
All right, Samson,
Thank
bye.
you. You're welcome. Yeah.
So please let's join the launch. Let's just join the launch.
Okay.